Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Valerie, and I'm a student of Moscow State University as the faculty, and I'm studying human resources. Today, I want to speak about leadership. I think most of you have wondered what leadership is. The first studies of leadership focused on traits or behaviors of the individuals in the top management. As a result, leadership is often seen as an individual competence or a role. But leadership isn't just about the qualities of a few and isn't always associated with a formally defined role. I think leadership is the art of influencing people to maximize their efforts towards the achievement of organizational objectives. Leaders should have some basic qualities. They should be able to establish contacts with their equals, to deal with their subordinates and motivate them, take risks and initiatives, mediate in conflicts, allocate resources properly, and identify themselves with the organization's objectives. What makes a person to follow a leader? People want to be guided by those they respect, those who aspire to inspire, and those who have a clear sense of direction. You can have great ideas how to succeed or how to get the competitive advantage over other companies, but if you can't motivate, encourage, and persuade your employees to work towards their organizational success, you have a very little chance to become a great leader. So to become successful and perform better than your business rivals, you should choose the best leadership style for yourself and for your company. You can give employees more freedom of action if they crave independence, but of course, if only they are experienced enough to deal with the problems on their own. If not, you can use more authoritarian style to help your workers to accumulate new knowledge and skills. All these things are the key to become a great leader in your field of management.
Hi, my name is Черепанова Anastasia, and I'm a leader. This is what anyone can say if there is clear personal understanding of what leadership means. As many business gurus say, leadership is a process, not just random, immediate action. I totally agree with such point. Leader is not someone who is seen only when times get tough. It is always the one who works twice as hard as all the others and burdened or gifted with great responsibilities literally for everything. For the money, for the inspiration, for the result, and for others to understand their fiduciary responsibilities. Leader keeps in mind interests of all the stakeholders, not just employees or shareholders all the time, especially while making important decisions. To a great extent, leader is the one who has broad vision and far-reaching perspectives. This is not a priority for managers or other employees. Undoubtedly, leadership means being able to find the right people and to determine sufficient amount of delegated tasks. At the same time, leader is a pure reflection of common values. Thus, leading is accompanied with transmitting his or her own ethics to the team. I'd like to finish with the quote of the great and powerful Jack Welch, who once said, "Before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others." Thank you for your attention.
Hi there, my name is Andrei Bakovsky, and I'm studying Human Resources at School of Public Administration of Moscow State University. And today I want to talk to you about leadership. So let's start with the definition. As one of the scholars once said, there are more definitions of leadership than people who are trying to define it. But let's stick with the most common one, that it is a process of directing and influencing people. I would humbly suggest that our leaders, both public ones and ones across organizations, are really good at directing, but lack motivation skills. So I would like to suggest some questions which people in power should ask themselves in order to become leaders of influence, not leaders of demand. And the first question is, how well do you know people you are trying to influence? We are only influenced by people who know, understand, and respect us. Influence over people won't come overnight. As Stephen Covey in his famous book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People said, seek first to understand, then to be understood. The second question is, are you liked by people you are trying to influence? It doesn't mean you should be their best buddy. but it does mean that you should be a concerned and a connected leader. The third question is, are you committed to your people? If you're not committed to your team, there is no reason they should listen to you. You should first invest time in your team, and then you would be able to make people do what should be done. And the final question is, are you strong, focused, and good example to people you're trying to influence? If you set up a good example, people will naturally want to follow you. Position yourself as a leader with a strong goal and an ability to meet that goal. So, I would like to believe that these questions will allow a lot of people in power to tap into a great potential they have of influencing other people, and as a result, become a better leaders. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Shurina, and today we are going to speak about the leadership. Of course, the definition of leadership is a complicated issue. Years ago, the most of companies were hierarchical, and leaders were just used the carrot and stick policy. But nowadays, the most successful companies are democratic in the terms of the style of leadership, like Google and Amazon. Employees there take part in discussions and making decisions. So there the question arises, what is the modern vision of a good leader? As Governor Schulz once said, building a business is like raising a child. And I like this quote. And I suppose that your team, they are like your assistants, and they help you to bring up your company. So in my opinion, the main objective for the leader is to build the values-based team of like-minded people. And of course, the way you interact with them is also important. Everybody has already heard about the emotional intelligence. But what do you know about the social one? Do you know how important are the mirror neurons and how we can foster a positive mood in your organization? Do you know that the attunement with your staff can lead your company to the staggering results? And if you are surprised by all the things I mentioned before, you should seriously update your knowledge of management. I know that everybody trumpets about it, but the atmosphere of the workplace really matters. And you should remember that in the atmosphere of sluggishness, your company will falter. All your employees should have the fast and clear feedback on their work. And even if you criticize them, please use the positive body language, like nods and smiles. People don't want to be managed. And you should remember that if you don't want to develop their animosity in the internal environment. You don't have to manage them, but empowering them, inspiring them, and conveying them the values of your company and your passion is much better. And also a leader should be ready to get sometimes his hands in mud, because a leader, he's a frontline man who can show an example to his team. And also it will help you to reach the better rapprochement. So in conclusion, I would like to say that I believe in you and your success in the future. So don't forget that you are leading, not following.
Hello, my name is Pechatnova Alina. First of all, I'd like to say that the vast majority of people do not know how does a leader differ from a manager. So today we will try to find out this difference. Let's start with a manager. A manager is a person responsible for day-to-day running of the company. According to Howard Schultz, a CEO of Starbucks, people don't want to be managed. They want to be part of the company, to be valued and useful. So, it's up to the manager to create a context in which people will work as constructively as possible. In order to achieve this goal, a good manager must be aware of needs and desires of his subordinates, of the situation on the market and in the company. That's why a manager must be intellectually curious and not be afraid of asking some questions to understand what is happening. Besides, a good manager must have a certain level of emotional intelligence, which consists of 5 components: self-awareness, self-regulations, motivation, empathy, and social skills. It really helps to understand the motives and goals of employee behavior. A leader is a person who sets the direction of the company's development, instill confidence, and inspire loyalty. The first thing a good leader should deal with while launching a business is team building, putting right people on right positions. But how can you understand that the person is right? So, the answer is quite simple. You need to hire a person that are like-minded with you, that share your vision and values of the company, a person that you can rely on. In order to attract and retain talented people, you need to have equity tool or stock options. Besides, a leader should create a culture of the company that enables employees to over-deliver and beat the numbers. I suppose openness is the best policy, because if a leader encourages his subordinates to accept challenges, they deserve knowing all that the head of the company knows. It's vitally important to believe in your idea and take care of your company like a child. Take Howard Schultz, for example. At the beginning of the way to success, Starbucks was supposed to have only 100 stores, but now there are more than 30,000 all over the world. To sum up, I can say that when something goes wrong, a manager looks for a problem and tries to solve it, while a leader blames himself in case of failure. In my opinion, management is a science which can be learned, but leadership is an art, and of course, you have to be born a good leader. Thank you for your attention.
What is leadership for you? What things come into your mind when you hear this word? Well, let me take a guess. You have probably thought of leadership as a quality of being the most important, being someone whom everybody listens to and who has enough authority to make people follow them despite all the hardships. And you are right, but such an understanding isn't comprehensive. First of all, leadership is about being approachable, so that employees can communicate with a leader on equal terms, which may be quite efficient and productive for the whole company. Secondly, leadership means leading by example. Otherwise, staff won't be able to identify the best performer of their official duties and strive to be the same. And at last, leadership implies being first and most involved. I mean, a real leader should literally take part in each of their team's domains and do their best to contribute the most. All this and even more you can learn at our School of Public Administration of Moscow State University. So make the right choice of university and faculty.
Hello, my name is Anastasia Kuzina and I'm a second-year student of HR department. Today I want to tell you about leadership in HR and particularly about the difference between a leader and a manager. There are many opinions about the difference between leadership and management, and some people believe that there is no difference at all. But I tend to believe that a formal manager isn't always a leader, and a leader who is followed by a lot of people isn't always a formal manager. For example, Theodore Roosevelt once said, "People ask me about the difference between a leader and a boss, and I answer, the leader leads, and the boss drives." I definitely agree with this point of view, but I would add that there can be a wonderful combination when a manager or a boss has leadership skills, when he or she can really inspire people. And I'm sure that the future is for companies which understand the importance of this combination. John Cotter, an American businessman, said about the difference between these two terms. A manager should take care that employees perform the tasks assigned to them effectively, while leaders, on the contrary, are called to deal with the challenges of the time and develop innovative ideas. They focus on the impact of certain events on the organization as a whole and not on solving individual problems. So some people associate management with something formal and standardized, while leadership is associated with something creative and innovative. But I think that creativity and innovations are something that management in modern companies really needs to be competitive. So now is the era of creative, non-standard decisions and inspired people. And terms manager and leader should become closer. Lee Jackson once said, "Leaders are people who bring out the best in others. There are too many managers and too few leaders in failing organizations. The world is driven by passionate, persistent leaders with good management skills. So the future is for bringing management and leadership close together." Thank you.
Hello, and I'd like to tell you about distinctive leadership abilities that can help you to carve out a place as a leader. The first point to my mind should be the emotional intelligence and emotional sensitivity. That means that you should encourage those around you to thrive and inspire them to do their work. You should direct people around you and know the exact status quo and know every step that you and your company should take to succeed. The next point is that, to my mind, true leader should be approachable. It means that you should treat everyone individually to boost their productivity. Be open and sociable not only with your team but also with your clients. That's vital to my mind. Leader should be able to present and reflect the interests of the whole group. And also it's important, if there is some dissent inside the group, he should be able to save peace with the help of consensus. Have the courage to make decisions. It takes determination and confidence. These were the features that are vital for a true leader to my mind, but all of us should remember that the true characteristics should be earned on site. Thank you for your attention and goodbye.